Police investigate 2 unrelated deaths in Regina. Why Saskatchewan gun owners aren't fans of the federal buyback program. And federal funding for nuclear research in Saskatchewan.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. The Regina Police Service is dealing with 2 death investigations, one after a body was found in a vehicle that evaded police. Officers found the vehicle a short time after attempting a traffic stop on Saskatchewan Drive near Albert Street. It was located by the aerial support unit, but all occupants had left the vehicle and fled the scene. Now, officers searched the vehicle and found a dead body inside. Further investigation led police to a home on the 3700 block of Dutney Avenue. The death is considered suspicious. The other death investigation started on Saturday morning at 5 a.m. after a man was found dead on the 2000 block of Prince of Wales Drive. Due to the early stages of the investigation, police stated no further details would be released to the public. That includes the victim's name. The investigation is in conjunction with the Saskatchewan Coroner's Service. Well, the window is open to express interest in the federal government's gun buyback program. Gun owners have until the end of March to declare if they're looking for federal compensation for turning in their firearms. But as Jacob Carr tells us, a lot of gun owners in Saskatchewan feel this program is soft target.
The clock is officially ticking for gun owners in Canada, as they now have until the end of March to either be compensated if they own a banned firearm or permanently deactivate those weapons. Members of the federal government say the program is designed to get dangerous types of guns off the streets.
They themselves would agree that getting military-style assault weapons off our street is something that we should always be cognizant of, and the danger it poses to the general public.
But CTV News talked to the owner of Cash Tactical Supply, Aaron Strauss, who was singing a different tune. He says the program does nothing but take firearms away from responsible gun owners and does nothing to curb the spread of illegal guns in the country.
It will have absolutely no impact on public safety because every firearms owner has to be vetted by the RCMP through the PAL system before they're ever allowed to buy a firearm, and that system works.
Strauss also believes the program is a waste of a lot of money. The Canadian Taxpayers Federation agrees, saying the issue the federal government should be focusing on is the flow of illegal guns coming over the United States border.
They're saying there's about $742 million that's budgeted for the program as a whole, but then about $250 million for the compensation program for the banned guns specifically.
While many in Saskatchewan are against the program, there are some in Canada in favor of it, including organizations like Poly Remembers, a group made up of survivors and families of the 1989 Polytechnique massacre in Montreal that claimed the lives of 14 women. The chair of the Canadian Doctors for Protection from Guns also hails the program as a step in the right direction. According to the program, if gun owners with banned firearms do not use the buyback program, their weapons must be disposed of or permanently deactivated by the end of an amnesty period, October 30th. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Through a collaboration between the province and Ottawa, Saskatchewan's nuclear research is getting a significant financial boost. Donovan Mace explains.
A future where
Saskatchewan's nuclear future is coming into focus.
It's fantastic. These types of test facilities are something that was really the role of Western Canada within the nuclear supply chain for a long time.
Through a joint investment, the province and Sask Power and federal government are building Saskatchewan's first small modular research safety licensing and testing center at the University of Regina.
Saskatchewan has much to offer, as we've indicated time and time again, and this is one example that we wanted to recognize today as the federal government, that research into the SMR could provide so much opportunity in the further and in the future for other things.
The center will simulate real-world conditions for SMRs, and its findings will support innovation in the sector and brings nuclear development into Saskatchewan.
Being able to build up that talent beforehand really well positions the overall province to make good on its investment when that actual FID comes to place.
This nuclear space is an area where we can have cooperation across the country that really will be a unifying factor. Saskatchewan uranium, Ontario experience.
Now, despite the province having the largest high-grade uranium deposits in the world, Saskatchewan currently does not generate any nuclear power, relying mostly on coal, natural gas, and some renewable energy to feed the grid. But aging infrastructure and growing power consumption is pushing SMRs to the forefront of Sask Power's future plans.
The hope with small modular reactors is that once you're through those first hurdles in terms of building, that you will be able to introduce modularity, which will drive down costs for reactors for anybody else who is going to go down that path.
Sask Power says it remains on schedule to begin construction of its first nuclear power station in 2029, with hopes it is operational by 2034. Donovan Mace, CTV News, Regina.
SGI will contribute another $2 million in photo radar revenue toward traffic safety projects. 78 communities will receive a share of the pie, going towards a wide range of measures, including speed awareness signs and crosswalk improvements. Wayne Mantica has more.
Every 6 months, SGI splits photo radar revenue after expenses are paid and the government takes its cut. This time, $2 million will be shared with 78 communities.
Projects are typically focused on our major contributing factors to fatalities and injuries. Projects like distracted driving, speeding.
The largest grants of $100,000 each will go to Regina, Saskatoon, and Moose Jaw, because that's where the cameras are located and the residents are paying the fines. Saskatoon will spend its share on a pedestrian crossing device at Avenue B and 33rd. Regina will install driver feedback and LED school zone signs, while Moose Jaw's share will be spent on thermoplastic crosswalk lines.
Enforcement activity, it changes driver behavior, and that's what the program is focused on, is reducing speeds.
In November, Ontario banned photo radar after Premier Doug Ford called it a cash grab. The government will now pay for traffic safety enhancements. Since then, compliance with Ottawa school zone speed limits has declined from 87% to 50%. Enforcement will now be handled by police.
You're going to face big fines and penalties because we want to keep our pedestrians and our children safe.
In Saskatchewan, no consideration is being given to eliminating photo radar. The government is convinced that it has helped calm traffic and reduce injuries. Wayne Mantica, CTV News, Regina.
Well, every 3 years, a countrywide assessment happens to see how grade 8 students are faring in 3 major school subjects. Mick Favel tells us more on where Saskatchewan currently ranks compared to other provinces.
The findings of a new study suggest grade 8 students from Saskatchewan are performing under the national average in science, math, and reading. According to the 2023 Pan-Canadian Assessment Program, Saskatchewan students are below the Canadian average in all 3 subjects. In math, Saskatchewan ranks near the bottom, with only New Brunswick and Newfoundland scoring less. In science and reading, Saskatchewan sits near the middle. When comparing the 2023 results from those from 2013, Saskatchewan performed better a decade before in all 3 subjects. According to the government of Saskatchewan, it's budgeted more money to discover what students need more, saying in a statement to CTV News. The government of Saskatchewan is investing $2 million to provide a suite of screening tools and intervention resources for school divisions to ensure students who require additional supports will be identified early so appropriate interventions can be put in place. The assessment program was started to inform Canadians on how well the education systems in place are meeting the needs of students and society. Over 30,000 students across Canada were randomly selected to take part. The next assessment is scheduled for 2027. Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
We'll let you know how Sabine's assessment went, maybe in the second or third block. But first, let's just talk about these chilly temperatures we're seeing.
Yeah, we're back into that seasonal range. The good news is the wind Well, calm down for a little bit. We will see some higher winds heading into tomorrow, Lee. The temperatures, though, will start to really drop by the time we get into the end of this week. Really, the first story to talk more so about is the snow, because we do have more snow arriving in many parts of Saskatchewan beginning today, continuing tomorrow night, and then seeing some more before the week is done as well. Temperatures right now, we're still around seasonal right now, but of course wind chill is playing a factor in some of these temperatures. As you can see, the southwest still not too bad with a wind chill of -4 for Maple Creek. Now, the average usually is about -11. We warmed up to -14 late this afternoon. Tomorrow will be another day similar to this, close to seasonal. And then by the time we get into Thursday, that's when the temperatures are expected to really drop. And I'll have details in your forecast. Lee?
Thank you, Sabine. The government of Saskatchewan is announcing a new animal welfare enforcement agency dedicated to protecting animals across the province. Sierra Sousa Butts tells us more on what animal rescue organizations think about the initiative and how it supports the safety and well-being of animals like this good boy.
Every day, volunteers from Stoughton help trap, neuter, and domesticate feral cats and dogs.
I would say it's very challenging. A lot of communities want me to come out and just deal with their problems, but we're primarily into educating communities.
One of the biggest challenges the rescue group faces is the lack of animal protection officers available in rural communities.
It's harder in rural communities for officers to come out because it's a longer drive and there's, say it's just one animal. It's still a huge priority, but since we're in a rural community, it's harder on them.
But help is on the way, according to the province, who introduced a new animal welfare enforcement agency responsible for the safety and well-being of all animals in Saskatchewan starting April 1st.
We're looking at this as a learning opportunity, really.
The Sask SPCA, who acted as the province's enforcement agency for years, says it hopes the new agency engages with associations to help train animal enforcement services.
Anytime that there are large-scale animal seizures, the amount of resources that are required to go in and remove animals that have been in dire situations. We really want to, learn more about how they're going to improve response times.
The Saskatchewan Animal Enforcement Agency will be replacing the Animal Protection Services of Saskatchewan, which is set to cease operations end of March. The government says the agency will enforce services under the province's Animal Protection Act and combine strong internal governance with civil board oversight to ensure accountability and enforcement. Sierra Sousa Butts, CTV News, Regina.
More than 24 volunteers were doing their part in Saskatoon to spread some positivity on the so-called most depressing day of the year. Keenan Sorkan has more on making the most of the long winter days.
This group of volunteers is doing its part to fend off the winter blues. With growing levels of hunger and poverty in the community, Felicia Fox wanted to lift people's spirits during the dark days of winter.
To counter the effects of low depression or mental health issues. So I created this event around food because food is my thing.
The third Monday in January is known as Blue Monday, the most depressing day of the year. What started as a marketing gimmick to sell vacation packages more than 20 years ago has become an annual day encompassing financial stress after holiday spending, winter blues, and seasonal affective disorder. While the day is fiction, winter blues affects many people.
Winter blues, a reasonable estimate might be 12 to 15% of the population in a place like Canada. With darkness, it changes our entire circadian rhythm. And when that rhythm is off, it's easier to have low energy and low mood.
The best way Fox knows how to boost morale is with a good meal. So she created Blue Monday Sandwich Day to make hundreds of sandwiches that were donated to community organizations throughout the day. After a successful start last year, she found more volunteers to help fill a larger demand.
It is definitely connecting with the community and with community members. We see that there's a need.
By the end of the day, more than 1,500 sandwiches were distributed, and if the event continues to grow, she may have to expand to a larger space. Keenan Sorkan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Maybell Developments is preparing for the final stages of their 12-home project located in Regina's downtown. Now, the complex is located beside Trinity at the Lutheran Church at the corner of Ottawa Street and 12th Avenue. The housing meant for low-income single mothers who are currently in tough financial problems. All units have 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom that are meant to occupy for about 2 to 5 years.
And they're fantastic, small little units developed in a way that focuses on the relational aspect, so that we're not focusing on the material per se. Our women's support worker will be working with every single family in these units to design an individualized case plan for them that looks at how are they going to be building towards their future.
Paired with Lilium Childcare right next door, the developer feels it will be an ideal setup for single mothers. And a prominent Saskatoon lawyer and former member of Parliament has died. Morris Bodnar died in Saskatoon on Friday at the age of 77. Raised in Prudhomme, about 65 kilometers northeast of Saskatoon, he spent 50 years in criminal law, working on several high-profile cases, including as defense counsel in the Greg Furtuck murder trial before withdrawing from the case in 2022. In politics, Bodnar was elected as a member of Parliament and represented Saskatoon-Dundurn from 93 to 97. During his time in Ottawa, he served as parliamentary secretary to 3 different ministries. After the break, Canada is thinking of sending troops to Greenland for NATO military exercises. And the death toll continues to rise after a deadly train crash in Spain. Well, in exchange for lifting EV tariffs, China expected to greatly reduce or eliminate tariffs on Canadian canola, which, of course, is welcome news for farmers here. But there are other crop challenges to consider. Alison Bamford has more.
Farmers are browsing some of the greatest gadgets in the field.
And then you split up the fan direction.
But shopping around won't help producers if their crop can't grow a profit.
Now we have to figure out what's going to lose the least amount of money.
The cost of production is up while crop prices have slipped substantially. Trade uncertainty and overproduction are driving the markets down, even with China's new trade agreement that will lower tariffs on canola and peas. Losses on other crops like wheat, lentils, and barley could be huge.
It could easily be $100 an acre. And $100 an acre on 10,000 acres is pretty easy math at $1 million.
Misery loves company.
Those coming off an above-average crop year plan to cut production costs just to break even if market prices stay the same.
It's not going to be easy, that's for sure.
For producers in the Southwest who've faced consecutive droughts, crop write-offs, and dwindling insurance payouts, another bad year could break them.
Young growers are just going to leave because if guys are just starting to get into it, there's no hope for them.
Current data shows abnormally dry and moderate drought conditions in the southwest corner, but there's hope in the weather forecast. A La Nina is expected to bring cooler, wetter conditions that could last until spring.
We're in a much better position than we have been for a while.
As always, the weather will be a big question mark, but if global trade uncertainty is resolved, farmers say they might have a chance to break even or turn a profit this growing season. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Mark Carney and Donald Trump will likely run into each other at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland this week, as U.S. President, according to NBC News, ratchets up his criticism of Canada behind the scenes. He's said to be fixated on this country's inability to defend the Arctic. It's the same argument he's using for acquiring Greenland. And Bergeron Oliver is in Davos, the third stop on the PM's trip to shore up global trade ties and move away from depending on the U.S.
The Prime Minister is one of a record 400 top political leaders in Davos for the World Economic Forum. But it's one leader who's not even there yet, Donald Trump, who is dominating the conversation and raising the tension. Prime Minister Mark Carney will kickstart his time at the World Economic Forum with a fireside chat tomorrow and a speech later in the day all about what he calls the New World Order and Canada's approach. Expect him to talk about trade and the importance of diversifying Canada's trading partner, a message he has been spreading throughout this trip. But while trade and the economy may be topics the leaders here want to talk about, geopolitics and Trump's latest tariff threats are quickly taking over. A number of the 8 EU leaders facing Trump tariffs over Greenland will be at the the World Economic Forum, including French President Emmanuel Macron tomorrow, who Carney will be meeting with. Right now, there is no indication that Carney and Trump will be meeting, but the two will be in Davos at the same time. The Prime Minister has said if he runs into Trump, he will raise his concerns about Greenland and the fact that Canada stands with Denmark and Greenland. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Corton, Switzerland.
A senior government source tells CTV News Ottawa is thinking about sending a small contingent of soldiers to participate in NATO training exercises in Greenland. Michael Couture on the balancing act as Trump threatens additional tariffs for EU countries over exactly this.
The picturesque landscape of Greenland could soon host a handful of Canadian soldiers. The members of our military would participate in training exercises with a number of European allies.
They framed it as a long-planned military exercise.
Canada's former ambassador to NATO says these deployments were originally planned to deter Russian action, but it could have the same effect on President Trump.
Trump is taking it as a message, and perhaps, unspoken, the allies will think of that as a way of changing Trump's risk calculus.
Canada's troop commitment would likely be less than the dozen soldiers Germany is sending to Greenland. Still, there could be blowback for Canada, as U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening tariffs on any ally that sends troops.
Just to show the Americans that, you can't push around a NATO ally and threaten to take over a country against their will.
Now, to minimize the political fallout, some suggest appealing to Trump in a different way.
Try to turn the tables a little bit and say, let's all be in this together when it comes to the defense of the Arctic in North America, rather than make it appear as if somehow we're marshalling a force to defend Greenland from the Americans.
NBC News is also reporting Trump is complaining to aides about Canada's vulnerability in the Arctic. That's despite Canada already committing $6 billion to an over-the-horizon radar system for the far north.
We have to do more in our Arctic, but we also have to be kind of calm. More important thing is to work with our Arctic allies to deter and to get ready for any threat.
But the source of that threat in a rapidly changing geopolitical landscape depends on where you are in the world. Michael Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
A 19-year-old Canadian woman was found dead this morning near a popular Australian tourist site. The woman was found unresponsive on Gowrie, an island off the country's east coast. Two men driving past the beach saw a pack of wild dogs near the body. Authorities say it's too early to know if the dogs were involved with the death. Police have not said where in Canada the woman was from. Authorities in Spain say the death toll after a high-speed train crash has risen to 40 as the government promises a full investigation into its cause. The crash happened near the southern town of Adamas, where a train headed from Malaga to Madrid derailed, jumping onto the track in the opposite direction and slamming into an oncoming train. Spain's transport minister says it could take a month to figure out what caused the collision that's left more than 150 people injured. Spain's prime minister has declared 3 days of mourning. Officials in Australia say a 12-year-old boy is one of the 3 victims from recent shark attacks in Sydney.
He's in for the fight of his life now, and the actions of emergency services yesterday gave him that chance. It was a horrendous scene at the time when police attended. We believe it was something like a bull shark that attacked the lower limbs of that boy yesterday.
The boy, who they believe was a bull shark, attacked him, pulled out of the water by his friends. The attack, one of 3 that happened in a span of 26 hours. Also, a man in his 20s in critical condition, and an 11-year-old boy escaped with only damage to his surfboard. An Italian fashion designer, Valentino Garavani, has died at the age of 93. His foundation announced his death, saying the funeral will take place on Friday. The designer, who was usually known only by his first name, was the founder of the famed Valentino brand, which he turned into a business empire. He was also the recipient of several awards and honors, including the Medal of the City of Paris. Coming up, a crafty way to spend a cold winter's day in Regina.
Your Morning Saskatchewan, it's back to work for our federal politicians. Conservative House Leader and the Regina MP Andrew Scheer joins to discuss his top priorities for his party.
It's frosty out there. This is as good as we can get with our sky cam right now. If we take a look out, well, beyond the ice, there's still traffic moving and everything's going all right. It's not that bad outside. Currently, we're sitting at -15 with a wind chill of -17. Wind's still not too bad. Actually, quite nice, under 5 kilometers an hour. As we head into tomorrow, we will start to see a low pressure system making its way into the province. And with that, we will see more cloud cover. We will see some of the winds picking up, and we will see snow. Snow is in the forecast, at least for the next couple of days. And then we'll have a high pressure system move in. And I'll show you that in a second. This is what we saw over the last couple of hours. Did see some light snow coming through parts of the province. Cloudier conditions for much of the day as well. The clouds are here to stay, at least for the next few days. Now, this is the first set of I was going to say first set of snow. It's not the first set of snow. It's the first system coming through with the snow, and that will be overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. You can see most of it staying in the southwest. Will actually start coming through from Alberta into the Lloydminster, Saskatoon area, and then by first thing tomorrow morning, we'll see most of it nestled into the southwest. Maple Creek, Swift Current, Assiniboia, Moose Jaw, Regina also expecting to see some of that snow. We'll continue to see more of that snow into the morning in the southwest. And then for most of the day, we're left with mainly cloudy conditions until the snow arrives again by tomorrow evening. And again, we can see lots of the province seeing this snow system coming through. Prince Albert, Saskatoon, Wynyard, many parts of the Parkland, Regina, Swift Current, Maple Creek, and many areas will be covered with this system. And with the darker shaded areas, as I've mentioned before, the darker the shaded areas, that's heavier snowfall that's coming through. So we will see pockets of heavier snowfall coming through parts of the province tomorrow. And that will leave quite a bit of snow. And I will show you what we can expect for snowfall totals coming up in a second. But once that system clears out Wednesday morning, we'll be left with mostly cloudy conditions as well on Wednesday. And then the high pressure system comes in, leaving clear conditions. A lot of sunshine expected for the end of the week into the weekend. But this is a real quick look of what we can expect for snowfall total. So between now until Wednesday morning, Regina could see just over 10 centimeters of snow, over close to 12 centimeters for Weyburn, 10 for Saskatoon, 3 for Yorkton, Prince Albert seeing 4 centimeters of snow in the southwest. We'll see Maple Creek sitting at about 9 centimeters of snow along with Swift Current and Estevan also. But as we head into Thursday morning, we'll see a little bit more of that snow Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So you can see many parts of southern Saskatchewan in particular getting into the double digits when it comes to snowfall total. So that was the main bad news. Well, no, that's a lie, because now there's more bad news on the way. Taking a look at temperatures, we're back into seasonal range. For tomorrow, we'll actually see warmer than seasonal temperatures in many parts of Saskatchewan still. -5 for Maple Creek and Swift Current tomorrow, -10 for Moose Jaw. The average daytime high for this time of year is usually about -11 to about -13 still. So we're still seeing above seasonal temperatures for many parts of the province. Tonight, we're warmer than average for Regina. -18 is the expected low. Winds up to 10 kilometers an hour. Tomorrow, however, the winds are expected to pick up, gusting up to 50 kilometers an hour. -11 is the expected daytime high. Again, expecting to see some of that snow throughout parts of tomorrow, but mainly tomorrow night into Wednesday morning is the heaviest snowfall totals. And here's a look at your next 7 days. So yeah, we've got seasonal temperatures now and on Wednesday with high winds, 50 gusting to 50 tomorrow, gusting to 55 on Wednesday. Then we see the skies clear, a lot of sunshine, but with the high pressure system comes the frigid temperature. So -25 is the daytime high on Thursday, -30 is the low, -27 is the daytime high on Friday, -21 on Saturday, -19 on Sunday, and those lows get back into the seasonal range. Primarily, it's the daytime highs that we'll see warmer than seasonal, but those 2 days, Thursday, Friday, adding wind chill on top of that, we could expect to see some very cold, frigid temperatures for the end of this week, Lee.
Your assessment's done. Would you like to know how you did compared
I already
to other
know.
provinces?
I already know how I did.
All right, we'll hunker down. Thanks, Sabine.
You bet.
Well, book lovers in Regina are taking advantage of their passion for arts and crafts through a junk journaling event that was held at a local pub. Sierra D'Souza Bott says more on the creative event and what it means to Regina's art community.
Janelle Labusky says she enjoys meeting new people through YQR Silent Book Club's weekly events.
It is so much fun. You always collect so many stickers and little things and you don't know what to do with them, and now they all have a home. So,
turning the page to a new occasion, she says the club's special junk journaling event has opened her artistic side.
Being social, having fun, and letting my creative side fly a little bit.
Close to 40 book lovers in Regina are enjoying a junk journaling event held at O'Hanlon's Irish Pub, creating unique journals of their own. Organized by Regina YQR Silent Book Club, the event aims to offer people an innovative space to work in while meeting others.
It's a great way to get community together, especially the group that we have. There's always new people for the crafting ones as well. I don't know, it feels good to have something to do in Regina when it's this cold out, you know, and just something a little different.
Aside from people bringing their own materials, the Regina Public Library, Little Free Libraries, and creators of the event donated magazines, tools, and other supplies needed.
Sometimes there's books that are too damaged, really, to kind of pass on, and we'll take them and use them for a craft. As well, individuals have offered some money for supplies for these events, and we have gotten a few items that way too from secondhand bookstores and such.
Adding, the event is also environmentally friendly as it provides an opportunity for people to get rid of any old or unused materials they have sitting in their homes. YQR Silent Book Club says people are always welcome to join the group's weekly events. Sierra D'Souza Bott, CTV News, Regina.
Still ahead, Riders receiver Kian Schaefer-Baker is back in the fold for another 2 years. Well, weeks ago, the Riders signed Samuel Emelis to a new deal. Now, another Canadian receiver has signed on the dotted line.
Begin the debate. Offense stays out, looking for that TD. They got it. Touchdown, Saskatchewan.
Kian Schaefer-Baker has agreed to a 2-year extension with the Green and White. Plagued by injuries last season, he only played 5 regular season games, 15 catches, 177 yards. But in the playoffs, he did have 6 catches for 83 yards and the touchdown you saw against the Lions. Best season back in 2022, where he had 960 yards receiving and a touchdown. Saskatchewan Roughriders also extending the contracts of quarterbacks Trevor Harris and Tommy Stevens earlier. Now they have Jack Cohn coming back.
Cohn is in the gun. 3 receivers far side. Back to pass. Pressure coming. He throws it to Anderson, who's got a lane. 15, 10, down to the 5-yard line. Before finally being...
Cohn is on the roster for only 5 games last year, used mainly in short yardage. When Tommy Stevens got injured, he scored 3 touchdowns and only made 8 pass attempts, completing 2 of them for 38 yards. WHL, it's been a tough season for the Swift Current Broncos, and they gave their fans something to cheer about, though, on the weekend.
Now goes left side, Kuryachenkov. Down low in front to Darby. Darby takes it. Now Kuryachenkov fires. He scores. Gets the hat-trick overtime winner.
Kuryachenkov now has double-digit goals on the season as the Broncos win 4-3, their second victory in their last 8 games. Broncos 2 points back at Lethbridge in the basement of the WHL standings. Their next game Friday against Prince Albert. As for the Pats, they face the Red Deer Rebels tomorrow. Regina-born snowboarder Mark McMorris is qualified for the 2026 Winter Olympic Games.
Exciting news. I have qualified for my 4th Olympic Winter Games. Very excited. Thank you for the ongoing support. See you in Italy.
He will compete in both big air and slope-style snowboarding. He will be heading to Italy pretty soon here because the games start February 6th and end on the 22nd. It can be difficult to enjoy the outdoors during the colder months in our province, but a partnership between 2 Saskatchewan-owned businesses is giving people an opportunity to get outside with sled dogs and a sauna. Hallie Mandrick has the story.
In a unique combination of events, visitors of Blackstrap Provincial Park had the opportunity to enjoy some adventure, followed by some relaxation over the weekend.
I thought it would be a really great collaboration to offer a sled dog and then a sauna after, because sometimes it can be really cold when you're dog sledding, and then I thought it'd be really amazing for guests to come after and sauna.
The experience started with an opportunity to travel through the park's trails on a dog sled.
Feeling we have traveling down the trail, it's quiet. You hear the sound of the runners, the sound of the dogs, the rhythm of the team. It's just a beautiful thing to watch, and you kind of get mesmerized in it all, and it's peaceful.
That adventure also included a bit of education, with the guides sharing some of the challenges that come along with assembling a dog sled team.
Getting to know all the dogs and knowing their strengths and weaknesses, their characters, and like some really like certain positions to run in, some really like to go in lead, some are more better in team, and yeah, growing closer with the dogs and then knowing that we can run with them for a very long time.
And of course, before leaving to their sauna, guests gave the dogs a well-deserved treat for their hard work. This marks the third season which the sauna and sledding combination has been offered, and Bouvier says it's a good way to enjoy Saskatchewan's colder months.
I mean, in the winter, our winters are long and cold, and we like to be warm and cozy. And also, sauna is just really great for the mind, the body, the soul as well. So many great benefits.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Blackstrap Provincial Park.
Still ahead, a sweet initiative by a Saskatoon hockey team.
All right, let's get to your rural forecast heading into tomorrow. And it's not the only thing we have to worry about tomorrow is snow. That is arriving. Most of it will arrive later in the day, but we will see some areas in rural Saskatchewan seeing that snow throughout the day, like many of these towns and cities. We will see, though, the temperature staying within that seasonal range, if not a little warmer. Areas like Lloydminster, -6 in snow tomorrow, -7 for Meadow Lake, -9 for Spiritwood, Watrous, and Outlook, -8 for Kindersley. And over in the east, Hudson Bay, mostly cloudy, -14. When we get closer to the southern border, temperatures are still within that same range, and some areas will see some of that snow. Others will just see cloudier conditions for most of the day before the snow arrives. Carlisle, -12 and cloudy down in the southeast there, -14 for Kenora, cloudy and -8 for Rosetown, and Maple Creek, -5, -8 for Coronach, -11 for Lumsden and Pilot Butte. If we take a closer look at Leader, which is located just northwest of Swift Current, -6 is the expected high tomorrow with a wind chill of -14. Expecting snow throughout the day, anywhere between 1 to 3 centimeters of snow expected tomorrow. In the evening, it'll dip to about -11 with a wind chill of -21.
Regina police are asking for your help to catch another serial shoplifter. Between December 5th, 2025 and December the 30th, 2025, a man has attended several businesses around the community and stolen hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise. Here are some of the still images from the shoplifting incidents. If you know who this man is, call Crime Stoppers.
I'm Constable Dana Adams with the Regina Police Service. Did you know that Crime Stoppers will pay up to $2,000 cash reward for information on this or any other serious crime in Regina? Callers do not have to identify themselves. Calls are not traced or recorded. In Regina, Saskatchewan and Canada, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477. You can also access our website at www.reginacrimestoppers.ca. Remember, our community suffers when you remain silent. Please report crime.
Crime Stoppers is brought to you by Leak Audiology, helping you live well with better hearing.
A Martensville hockey team is working to give back to the Pattison Children's Hospital, a place that meant so much to one of their players. Hallie Mandrick has a story.
The Martensville Pirates U13 hockey team hosted a bake sale at their Sunday night game to fundraise for the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital, a cause that's very close to home for the entire Pirates community.
My brother, he had cancer when he was 11, and it was really hard on him because he wanted to play sports like us.
2 families on the team have been affected by different childhood illnesses, and the Children's Hospital played a crucial role in helping them get better. Now, the team is trying to pay it forward.
You never know when you're going to need it, right? So we didn't expect it, so it just kind of teaches them to give when you can, because you might be the recipient down the road.
The young athletes got together to make and decorate cookies, which were sold at their Sunday night game. The team also sported gold laces and stick tape, the color of childhood cancer awareness.
Well, it's special because children in the Children's Hospital, they wish they could be here, and it's really good for like us to help fund or raise money for them so they can hopefully get better and come do what we do.
One team parent says, while the goal is to fundraise for a good cause, it's also an important lesson to instill in young athletes.
I think your community is what you make it, and if you want to live in a strong community, sometimes you need to give your strength to others who need it a little bit more than you do at the time.
And that lesson appears to be resonating with the Pirates.
No, it's not really just about sports. It's about just helping people, and anybody can really help help raise money for the kids in the Children's Hospital.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Martinsville.
Farm markets, canola street price down $3.20 to $583.02 per ton, while the futures price has jumped up $1.90 to $639 per ton. Amber durum wheat, no change, $274.92 per ton. Red spring wheat's down 18 cents to $249.91 per ton. Feed barley, $213.59 per ton, while flax is $626.04 per ton. Those prices courtesy of Bunge. As for the markets, the TSX up 50 points. The Dow Jones went the other way, down 83 points. As for the Canadian dollar, it went up about a quarter of a cent to 72.11 cents U.S. On the commodity front, gold a big $74.80. It jumped. West Texas Intermediate crude up 9 cents, while Western Canadian Select crude jumped up 32 cents. Did it change our gas in Regina? Well, no, because the gas went down. Commonly found at most places for $1.25.9 per liter.
At the end of 2024, the federal government gave Canadians a break from paying the GST. Fast forward to a year later. And that's why Canadians are paying 8.5% more for meals at restaurants, while alcoholic drinks rose 6.5%. Toys and games up 7.5%, and kids' clothing 4.8%. At the grocery store, coffee cost almost 31% more year over year. Beef, fresh or frozen, up almost 17%. Tesla could be an early winner from Ottawa's new trade deal with Beijing. It opens up the Canadian market to electric vehicles made in China with a much lower tariff. Tesla makes some of its vehicles in Shanghai, and the company already has a network of stores in Canada, which puts it in prime position to take advantage of the agreement. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Coming up after the newscast tonight, somebody call 911, because we got 3 shows. You like that, didn't you?
That was great.
Former late-night host David Letterman is bringing his comedic stylings to Just for Laughs in Vancouver.
Yeah, the festival says it'll be his first time performing in Canada since 1978. Letterman is set to appear on stage for an evening with David Letterman and special guest Zach Galifianakis on February 18th at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre in Vancouver. The 78-year-old comedian hosted The Late Show from 1993 to 2015. That would be a fun night to watch those two. Yeah. 1978?
Between the Ferns, maybe, was that?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Well, some incredible video from Michigan today where more than 100 vehicles were involved in a pileup this morning.
You thought the ring road was bad. Happened on Interstate 196, southwest of Grand Rapids. More than 30 tractor trailers were involved in the collisions, which caused state police to close the interstate in both directions. No shock. According to media, about a dozen people suffered some type of injury in the crashes, but no one was killed.
Wow.
That looks like a child just came and crashed all his vehicles together.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to get your FedEx package. That's a shame. Oh, there's another one there, too. A couple FedExes.
Okay, well, good news. Nobody was
hurt. Well, people were hurt.
Nobody was killed, but our roads are going to get messy this week, so make sure you're careful out there.
Probably won't be that bad, though.
No.
No, definitely not going to be that bad. All right, stay warm out there. Bye.